welcome back, friends. So, as you guys can tell by the title of today's video, I'm engaged. I am shocked, to say the least, and I still can't believe it. So, there's that. But yeah, Joe and I are engaged. We're getting married. We're doing it for... But anyways, so I figured for today's video and like my welcome to 2021, and hopefully 2021 is the year for Joe and I just to take off on all of our platforms and really just like make something of ourselves on these platforms, because I mean this is what we want to do, and here we are. So I figured to start off the new year, I would tell you guys how it happened and how I'm still shocked that it happened and everything in between. So I'll just jump right into it. Don't forget though to follow my Instagram, follow my podcast Instagram, because we will be doing an episode on the podcast about our engagement, and that will have Joe on it as well. And then some of our friends are going to join in, which we're super excited for that. Oh, as you can tell, I'm in a new setting, even though we've literally only seen two videos, but we're at home right now. And yeah, so I'm in my soon-to-be in-laws house. I'm gonna have in-laws. Yeah, anyways, so we'll just jump right into it. So Joe and I met in February of 2018. I had just gotten out of a serious relationship. I was not in any hurry to get into another serious relationship. But let me tell you, sorry, I thought I heard him coming. I'm so shy right now. Anyways, let me tell you, that man was persistent. He was like, no, you are my person. This is it. You'll see it soon. So let's go. So we met in 2018. And then we, oh, that scared the crap out of me. The dumpster, the trash truck guys came. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. But anyways, so we met in 2018. And he considers our like date of being like dating was probably like March of 2018. I don't consider it till June, just because again, like he literally, I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know anything, like I don't even know, like when I think back to it, I'm like, Cara, why did you make him wait that long? But listen up, girls, do not settle for anything, because that boy did everything for me, and he waited for me until I was ready to actually officially be boyfriend girlfriend, which I applaud him for that. But like I said, like we met February 7th, and then we didn't start actually dating until June, or we weren't officially boyfriend girlfriend until June 2nd. So all that time, and he's still, women never settle. Anyways, and so whenever so we had this whole thing planned in June to take me, at the time we were living in Kansas City, and so to take me to like kind of like our favorite spots. Like we went to this new restaurant, we got dessert, and then he took me up to the Liberty Memorial, like the World War I museum, that whole thing. If you're ever in Kansas City, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's this lookout of downtown Kansas City. It's like right in front of Union Station. I mean, it's just gorgeous. He took me there, and that's where he asked me to be his girlfriend. So fast forward, Joe and I are trying to figure things out. We eventually do long distance because he moved to Kentucky. I stayed here in Kansas. And so what was I gonna say? My mind, I'm still, like I said, like in utter shock that I'm engaged right now. But anyways, so we did long distance for a little bit, and that was hard because we both kind of went through a lot of like feelings at the time, and we were both a little confused, and we were just like, is this really it? You know, like, is this really my person? Well, excuse me. fast forward to March of this year, of 2021, when quarantine happened and he had to move back home. Like, he was home from March to June. And in that time, I was like, that's it. Like, this is my person. You know, he's it for me. And I am fine. I'm fine with waiting. I'm fine with everything, because also our friends started getting engaged, like our close friends, they were starting to get engaged, and people were like, oh, you and Joe are next. And I'm like, oh, we've got a few years. Like, we're totally fine waiting. Like, we are all good. And then, you know, when quarantine happened, that was also the time for Joe when he told me, he was like, yeah, like, this is my person. And we'll talk more about it from his point of view in the podcast, but I was asking him all these questions after it happened, and like, when did you know, like, what the heck, like this and that, because we had kind of like talked about it, but it wasn't anything to where it was like, it's gonna happen here, you know. My cat's trying to get in. Mira. She's like laying right at the door, and she's like trying to like nudge it open. But anyways, so he was like, he never really like, I don't know, he never hinted at anything. He never really said anything. But he knew coming back, he went and visited a friend in California, and he knew coming back, he was like, okay, I'm gonna do it this year, you know, like, this is it. So anyways, we moved to Kentucky. We go about doing our thing. We've been living there for almost 6 months now. Well, it is 6 months now. And we are just like, our life, when I say I've never been more content in my life, I'm 100% serious. Like, when I talked about my one episode, I am 100% serious in the aspect of my life. It could not be any better. Now it is. I don't even know if you guys, I'll put my little, but it could not be any better. And I'm still shocked. I was like telling Joe, I was like, I want to film this video. I was telling Joe, I was like, I want to film this video, but I also like need to kind of get it together. It's taken me almost a week to kind of, oh, okay, yeah, we're good. But anyways, we'll get into the meat and potatoes of how it happened. We'll just say that because it's the funniest thing. So we had this big old trip home planned. We were going to be home for a few days. We were going to see my mom, and then we are going to see our friends and family. To all my 9 subscribers out there, I promise we were safe. Anyways, so we were going to do, like, we were just going to hang out with our friends, and it was much needed on both of our parts. And so we had this trip home planned. Well, literally on December 14th, we were leaving, not even like a week later, we were gonna leave. So on December 14th, Kentucky put out this travel advisory. And if you travel out of state within the 14th of the first of the year, then when you come back home, you have to quarantine for 10 days. Well, like I said, I work for Starbucks, and they were like, yes, you have to quarantine for 10 days when you get back home. And we're like, oh my gosh, like, I was like, I cannot miss that much work. I'm fine staying home. And Joe was like, no, you are coming home. I'm not leaving you here. And I was like, well, maybe we can go home after the first year. Like, just thinking about, he's like, no, like, because in his mind, he had this whole proposal planned out. And so this was just ruining it, essentially. And so I was like, okay, fine. So I told my work, I was like, this is the day I get back. Catch you in 10 days after that, you know? So anyways, we planned this trip home. We visit my mom. So we got to Lawrence, and then we dropped off our cat. It's also which our friends surprised us when we got here, which I thought was super sweet. But we dropped off our cat. The next day we went to where I'm from, like my hometown, and we visited my mom for a few days. So we were with her, hanging out with her, and then we were going to come back on Christmas Eve. Well, when we were coming back, his dad was like, hey, I need you to pick up this bench for his mom, like Patrick's wife, you know, Joe's mom. And was like, hey, I need you to pick up this bench for Christmas. It's in the Crossroads district. If anyone's in Kansas City, you know what I'm talking about. And his name's Waylon Rich. Like, so go pick it up. It's ready by 2, blah, blah, blah. Well, I started freaking out a little bit because my mom, like, I never want her to feel like I'm taking time away from her. And I kind of felt like that was the case. And so I was getting a little like, with it. Well, also on Christmas Eve, this is how it happened. So I woke up, it's Christmas Eve. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing anything today. We're literally just driving back home. Like, I really don't need to, like, look good. But anyways, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm like, I don't really need to do anything. I don't want to look good. We're not going anywhere. There's no parties. Like, there's no nothing. So my mom had texted me. She goes, good morning. I want you to do your hair, do your makeup, and get a pretty outfit on because I want to take a picture with you. I was like, a picture? Like, you want me to do all this for a picture? Which today, well, I guess I'm doing more than this, but I'm like, I kind of got all dolled up for a picture today too. But anyways, I was like, okay, I guess. And I was like, well, I'll just like kind of put on a cute outfit. But I was like, I really don't want to do my makeup because at the time, my foundation, I haven't worn makeup since like freaking February. My foundation did not match my skin tone. And I was like, Mom, I'm gonna have like a tan face and a very pale body, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you just put makeup on. Like, come on, you should put makeup on. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I put makeup on and we take the picture, and it felt like my mom was like rushing me out the door. And so I was telling Joe, I was like, we're just gonna leave. We're just gonna leave. We'll hang out in Kansas City. Like, we'll find stuff to do and we'll drive around. We'll see like Ward Parkway. Like, we'll see like all these places that we used to go. And he played it off and he was like, okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. Well, behind the scenes, he was texting everyone like, red alert, we're leaving soon. We're pushing the proposal out type thing. And so anyways, we get in the car and I'm a little sad because it's like, I never like leaving my mom. Like, I don't see her too often. Just because we do live now 6.5 hours away from my mom. And so it's like, I can't just go home one weekend and see her. And so I do feel bad about leaving her, but also at the same time, it's like, oh, there's talking, it scared me. I was excited to like just go and spend time with like our friends and family and see our cat. Like, I missed her. And so I was a little sad leaving her. And in the car, it was so funny. We were talking, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I asked Joe, oh, I was thinking about my dad, which, long story short, he passed away a while ago. And so I was just thinking about him. And I was like, would you ever ask my mom, like, permission to marry me? And Joe was like, oh, I'd have to think about it. Like, he was playing it off. Like, but lo and behold, we were literally driving to the spot where he was going to propose. And it just came out of the blue, like, I asked him that. And I was like, well, yeah. I was like, I would want her to be, like, involved. And he was like, oh, yeah. Like, that's no problem. So anyways, we get to Kansas City. And Joe's like, oh, why don't we go look at the World War I Museum? Because that's, like, one of our favorite lookout places. Just, it's gorgeous there. I'll insert some pictures of that. But anyways, it's literally gorgeous there. And I was like, okay, like, that's totally fine. It was freezing, but I'm like, no, I want to get a good picture because, again, we won't be back for a few months and I'm going to miss the, you know, just, we're in all our feels right now. So we get there. I walk ahead of Joe because I'm cold and I was like, we need to make this quick because it's freaking cold. I'm not really dressed properly, this and that. Like, I just want to be, you know, I want to go get this bench and I want to be home, you know? And so we're standing there and I have to show you this picture. I can insert it if I remember to, but we're standing there. And Joe's like, let's take a selfie. And he's like, let's do it this way. And so this is the picture. I don't know if it looks that we got. This was right before. And he knows I'm particular with pictures. And so he's like, look at the picture and see if it looks good. Like, does it look good? Does it look good? Blah, 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 blah. And I was kind of like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Like, I'm freezing. Like, let's go, let's go. And he was like, look at it. And I still laugh because it still doesn't feel real. And I was just like, oh, it looks great. And as I'm turning around, I have like his phone in my hand. And he is down on one knee. Like, just Oh, I hate that I take a screenshot. And that, I hope you guys can see that, is my face the entire proposal. The entire time. That was my face. When I tell you I was in utter shock, I still am. But when I tell you I was in utter shock, all I remember saying is like, yeah. Like, that's it. That's all that came out of my mouth. I do remember I asked him multiple times, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want to go through, like, I'm a lot of a human. Are you sure you want to go through this? And he said, yeah. And he didn't say yeah, but he popped the question. And so then we're standing there and I'm crying because, again, I'm in utter shock. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And he was like, yeah, the gang's all here. And our friends and his parents were hiding and they like ran out and they recorded the whole thing. I mean, it was I was still just thinking about it. I'm like, what the heck just happened to me? But he did it on Christmas Eve, and that was the exact spot that he asked me to be his girlfriend almost 3 years later. Yeah. I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked to this day. Like, what a story. Like, what a proposal, what a everything. And it was so funny because afterwards I was like thinking to myself, we need to get this bench, because I thought that was the only reason why. But his parents had made something. I mean, they knew. So his parents came to visit us for Thanksgiving, and that was when Joe got the ring. And he had told his dad then, and honestly before that. But his parents came then and they got the ring, and so he's held on to that ring for almost a month. And he kept it a secret. Like, I'm still shocked. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was such a wild story. So yeah, so that's how Joe and I got engaged. What a day. It was a beautiful day. And then we came back to his place, we had margaritas, we hung out, we just, I told, my family and my friends, and I still don't believe that it's a thing, just because, again, it was like, we were so content with waiting and just hanging out and just him and I doing the thing. Well, I was anyways. And because I never want to pressure anyone to take the next step, especially if they're not ready. Like, that was what happened in my last relationship, and I was not ready, but I felt pressured, and I got out because I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet, maybe at some point. And so in this relationship, I told myself, I'm like, I'm not going to push me or my partner to do something that they don't want to do. So here we are. I am engaged, and we're taking our time with everything. We're kind of just celebrating this time that we're home, and then when we get back to Kentucky, we're definitely going to kind of just sit down and see what happens. And we've done a few things right now, but yeah, I'm still like, I am stunned. I'm beyond excited, but I am stunned. Yeah. Anyways, that is my engagement story. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you guys had a good holiday. Happy New Year. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to follow our podcast. We're going to be posting a video within the first week of the new year, which we're excited about. And like I said, it'll be about our engagement and then our friends and just everything in between. And yeah, so we're getting married.